Good afternoon, everyone. Steven here once again. Well, the NASCAR offseason may be over with, but that's not stopping this channel for providing you with my thoughts on the NASCAR season and everything else on this channel. Before we get started, though, on today's topic, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to this channel for more content like this, ring the bell for notifications, and comment down below. So, obviously, I think we can all agree that the playoff format is not going away anytime soon, if ever. But what we can do is come up with our own ideas on how to improve it, to at least get a compromise between a full season format and a playoff format, because even NASCAR themselves said, yeah, they're not going to a full season format. So, I have thought about 3 proposals that I want to share with you. Let me know down in the comments below which format you like the best. And bear in mind, this is all playoff only proposals, no full season whatsoever. So, if you're calling full season, sorry. Even though I think they should go back to a full season format, they're not going to. So we just forget that for the time being. So, here's my 3 proposals. First, now I will admit, at first I thought this wasn't going to work, but after giving it some thought, and I do want to credit Eric from out of the group who came with the idea originally, but I think this could work. Essentially, flip the 1 race from the final race of the season to the beginning of the playoffs. That way you get 1 shot of making it to the round of 12. His suggestion was the top 8, but I got something a little bit better to make it more fair, as it were. Or at least make it more interesting. Do the format with 1 race in round 16 and then 3 from here on out, but only the regular season champion gets locked into the next round. From 2nd all the way down to 16th in points, you get 1 race to move on to the round of 12. Yeah, I know he proposed first top out of the field, but to me, 2nd to 15th, between 2nd to 16th, should be fair game. Sure, the likelihood of somebody 2nd in points get knocked out in 1 race is unlikely, but it does at least keep the 2nd place driver in points and so forth on their toes as well. Instead of worrying about the drivers not thrown down, as it were. So basically, I took his idea and made a minor tweak to it, as it were. Now, of course, if you prefer his idea of 8 blocked in for the next round, then yeah, that could work too, to an extent. But anyway, proposal number 2 is just to have 1 elimination at the halfway point of the season, as far as the playoffs go. At the 5th race of the season, within the playoffs I should say, the top 8 will advance and have 5 races to determine who the champion will be. 9th on down, your season is done. This way, it works consistency more, and it does offer at least 1 elimination to keep the fans of the elimination format happy as well. Proposal number 3 is to go back to the original format with 16 drivers having 10 weeks to compete for the title. Now, regardless of the proposal, how you qualify for the playoffs will make some slight change. If you're going to insist on a win-win format to get to the playoffs, then instead of having one win to do it, then the minimum would be 2 races won to get in. One would give you a possibility of making the playoffs, and will be on standby if you don't get multiple winners. But if you get 2 races or more win, you're going to guarantee a spot. My proposal of how to qualify for the playoffs will be this. Driver with the most wins will get the number 1 seed. And like I said, we'll be locked in exclusively for the first round of the playoffs. Whether it's 3 in the first round, the one-way suggestion, or the one-way suggestion. Because if it's 5 races, then there's no. And I think it's only fair that the number 1 seed would be on top of the game as well for 5 races. But 1 or 3, they'll be locked in. Now, after all the multiple winners are counted, then you go back to the one-race winners with one condition. They have to be at least 25th or above in points after the last race of the regular season. If they're 26 on down, then you won your race, but you did not qualify for the playoffs. That way, it's also a fair compromise in that regard too. Then after that, you go by points. And you proceed with the playoffs from there. In the case of the Xfinity Truck Series, top 20 in both series. But the same basic principle applies. Either 1 elimination race to start the round, and then 3 already across, or 4 playoff system throughout the finale, or at roughly the halfway point of their playoffs, that's your elimination race. That way, to me, it warrants consistency and everything else. And one other trick I like to propose, and that is increase bonus points, or rather increase stage points during the playoffs. As in double the stage points for not only the drivers in the playoffs, but for the drivers who didn't make the playoffs as well. Because points will also mean something to them too, for being the first driver outside the playoffs, more or less. Yeah, you can still have points. You can still have points determine who's going to be your champion. Sure, the only downside with points determining the champion is that you're going to have drivers century driving out back and not out front in the final race of the season. That is the only downside to this format. And I get that. But to me, this is the most fair way of determining a champion. That way, it still rewards consistency, but also would reward wins more than just a one race deal. That to me will make the playoffs better and more fair to the competitors, rather than just a one race finish ahead of the other 3. You're the champion rule we got now. I mean, at least to me, it makes the most sense as well. To have multiple races to determine who will be your champion in your respective series instead of just one race. Now, before I go, a couple other things I want to announce quite quick. So yeah, first of all, FedEx, as you recall from Sunday, and they haven't practically confirmed this, by the way, on X, that apparently he and FedEx that the FedEx won't be back on the 11 car next year. No word yet as time, however, what will Hamlin's plans be for next year, let alone who's going to flip the bill for the sponsorship that FedEx left behind. And earlier today was confirmed that Jimmie Johnson will be back for 2025 at Legacy Motor Club to run some select races. Although at this time, we don't yet know how many races and which ones he will be racing in 2025. But Jimmie Johnson is not quite done yet driving. And I get both sides of the argument regarding Jimmie Johnson because of his age, and he's no longer as competitive as he once was, he shouldn't even be on the track. But I also get the argument that since testing is limited, that his on-track active performance regardless would help the team, especially given the uncertain situation going on in 2011, meaning that it could be the only Toyota team left besides Gibbs if 2011 is forced to scale back in some capacity. Honestly, with Jimmie, he can do what he wants, but I will argue that the 84 should be split between him and maybe an upcoming driver as well. Say Jimmie does 5, and the other driver does 5 races as well. That way, they can also gain some more benefits too, in that regard. And ultimately, turn that 84 to a full-time ride for the relief driver, whoever that may be. But it's only if things improve for Legacy, mind you. Because the way things are running now, and let's be real, they were better off when they had that children's alliance instead of what they got now with Toyota. But one does wonder, if 2311 does decide to scale back operations, like Danny suggested they might miss a 500 and the Clash, could Joe Gibbs and Toyota make them an offer that they can't refuse and essentially be the backup alliance team instead? Food for thought now, is it? Not that saying they will take it, because obviously Legacy wants to try to make it work on their own, and I get that. But at the same time, if I'm Toyota and Gibbs, having a backup team in case something does have to happen to 2311, it's not a bad idea to consider. Now is it? And the same thing with Ford regarding RFK's situation or Penske's situation. As far as backup teams, in case something does happen to the front row and they're forced to scale back as well. Could Ford, more or less, able to step up their game to Rick Ware, for example, making that team more competitive, or to Gene Haas? Again, food for thought. But with everything that's going on around here, we'll see. We'll see. And so to more or less wrap things up, I want to close this video by saying this. Now, I'm still planning on doing a weekly NASCAR video on this channel. Talk about this or that over the course of the week. But I'm also going to plan on covering a few other things along the way too. So far as virtual content is concerned, I'm not done by any means of the imagination. And yes, public domain, shorts, and films will be coming with way back there at channel 2. So don't worry. If you like those, then stay tuned. If you like my virtual content as well, stay tuned. But I've been rambling for about a few minutes or so now, but I do want to say thank you for all my subscribers. Can't do this without you. And whatever the next time will be, will be. But I plan on coming out here each Tuesday at the very least, or as long as possible during the fall and winter, to share my thoughts. And don't forget, comment down below which playoff format do you think would be more fair and you prefer. The one race to start the playoffs and then 3 all the way across, 10 with no eliminations, or 1 elimination at the halfway point. Anyway, let me know your thoughts down in the comments, and why do you think that idea will work or not. Plus, you like my suggestion of dumping the points and how to qualify for the playoffs. Anyway, at this time, that's all I'm going to have to say on that. So let me know you guys' thoughts down in the comments down below, and I'll see all of you next time. Bye. There is one more thing I want to talk about right quick, and I almost forgot to mention this. I forgot to mention this earlier. We still don't yet know as far as which of the 9 races Fox and NBC will televise for next year. All we know so far is that Fox will broadcast the Clash and the 500, while NBC will most likely do Daytona and Phoenix. Now that leaves 7 races left on either Fox or NBC to cover. So what I'm going to do here is give my guesses on which those tracks will be covered on Fox, then the 2 races on NBC. So first, the remaining 3 races that I think Fox will cover will be Atlanta, Talladega, and most likely Coda. That'll be their 5 for Fox, with everything else going to FS1. For NBC, obviously their 2 races besides Daytona and Phoenix will be in the playoffs. So I'm thinking Talladega and probably Martinsville will be on NBC as far as next year goes. But we don't know officially until the TV schedule gets announced. We just know that for 2025 and probably beyond during this new deal, NBC and Fox will only do 5 races per year. 9 races per year combined, with everything else going into FS1 or USA. Fortunately though, all the Xfinity Series races will be on CW. Now, for those of you who can't get CW for whatever reason, that might be a problem. Yes, it's an over-the-air station, but like I said before, it does have slightly fewer stations compared to Fox and NBC. And in some markets' case, it's going to be available via your local cable company. So needless to say, you gotta contact your provider or whatnot and check your zip code and see if the CW is in your market, and if so, how do you get it? That's probably the best advice. That's probably the best advice I can give you regarding CW coverage. And like I noticed on the Wikipedia page for the Truck Series races, well, it seems that they're getting 9 races from Fox next year. Of course, it's not confirmed either, and that could change. But again, if true, then, like I said last time, it's a great deal for the Truck Series to have more exposure. Now, in the description of this video, I will put in greater detail, according to Wikipedia at least, what races Fox will cover for the Truck Series next year. And bear in mind, this is not finalized in any way, shape, or form, and this could change. So just keep that in mind. But again, if true, this is a great move for the Truck Series in that regard. Now, if they can get rid of Jamie in the broadcast booth and put Adam in the booth or someone else, just saying, you know. Nothing against Jamie Little, but she's a great reporter, but not a good lead announcer. But anyway, that's all I gotta say for now. I'll see you next time. For real this time. Bye.